지금 이거 통역하고 있는구나. 우리 통역 지금 되고 있는지 확인 가능할까요?
저희 통역 아까 테스트 다 했습니다. 걱정 마세요.
안녕하세요, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you?
깜짝이야.
All set, right, colleagues? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maria, thank you so much for your help, Maria, on the interpretation.
Pleasure, and thank you for inviting our members to speak on the program.
Yes, it's a pleasure for us to always welcome members from South Korea as well. So you got the vaccination already?
Me?
Yeah, not yet.
Vaccines haven't got to my age yet. I guess I'm still young.
Yeah, true. We have from Xi'an here. So,
말씀하시겠습니다.
Vegan, Mayor is not
Hi,
here.
안녕하십니까.
Hello.
Hello.
방금
야.
자동 통역됩니다.
아직 시작 안 했어요.
Ah, Jeju.
Yes.
So we will make a live in YouTube live stream. So if many more people would like to join, they can see the live stream. Hello, 안녕하세요, Mr. Taigun.
안녕하세요.
예, 반갑습니다. 예, 강태훈입니다.
지금 도시통역사가
I need to learn maybe Korean language. I only know a few words, but very nice meeting you here virtually.
잘 안 들리는 거죠? 뭐라고?
만나게 돼서 반갑다고.
그러니까 잘 안
Hello, Miss Yang Mili. 안녕하세요.
들리는데요.
I think this is not online yet, no? YouTube, no? Chandra?
It's online, but because
Oh,
the
we
time
should
is
then-
5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
We have 5 minutes left to start.
We are actually already online in YouTube.
처음. 아, 야, 이거.
Recording in progress.
그리고 추가로 드래?
네. 일단
이거
서버가 아까 나한테 있고 그리고 시간이
이거 안 나는데? 내가 음소거 해야 되는데?
Please, can we start, please? Yeah.
Can we put on the title slide, please? Okay. Welcome to the UCLG ASPAC webinar, Show Must Go On, Culture and Cities in the Next Normal. Before we begin, a few housekeeping reminders. Participants are requested to change their name in the following format: name and city or institution. As a general rule, if you're not speaking, please put your microphones on mute. Interpretation is available for this webinar. Please select English or Korean from the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen. If you wish to speak, click the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. Once acknowledged by the moderator, you may unmute your microphone and turn on your video. Should you have comments or questions, you may also submit them via the chat box. We will address them as time permits. Documentation of this webinar will be made available at the UCLG ASPAC website. Thank you, and we will begin the webinar shortly. Let me now turn over the floor to UCLG ASPAC Secretary General, Dr. Bernadia Irawati Chandradev.
Thank you very much, Liz. Annyeonghaseyo, good morning, good afternoon, ni hao, namaste, namaskar. I'd like to welcome Mayor, Deputy Mayors, and all the participants from UCLG ASPAC members, and also our colleagues from UCLG World. Welcome to this interesting gathering. Yeah? Show must go on. The title is quite impressive. Show must go on, culture and cities in the next normal. This webinar is organized together by UCLG ASPAC and Jeju Special Self-Governing Province. I think you know very well how Jeju has been playing an active role in this establishment of the UCLG ASPAC Culture Committee. I also notice here we have a mayor of Vigan, who is also the founding member of UCLG ASPAC Culture Committee. And of course, we know that during this pandemic, we should feel blessed. We have to feel blessed that we can still meet despite this pandemic, and the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, has heavily actually affected the cultural sectors. So thereby, this is also limiting people access to culture. So I think the jobs itself in the cultural and creative sectors are at risk from 0.8 to 5.5% of employment in OECD region. But we have to feel that despite this pandemic, there are a lot of opportunities. We are sharing here today how cities, who will be presenting today, also share the initiatives, the innovative activities and strategies, how they can bring this culture in this pandemic. So first of all, let me welcome the governor of Jeju province, Governor Won. I think you all know how Governor Wong has been committed to this UCLG ASPAC, and he was actually the president of UCLG ASPAC for 2 terms. So I think it's good to welcome him. Let's welcome him through the video message.
여러분 안녕하십니까? 대한민국 제주특별자치도지사 원희룡입니다. UCLG 아스팍의 코로나19 지방정부 문화정책집 발간을 기념해 웹세미나가 열리게 되어 무척 기쁩니다. 코로나19 팬데믹으로 어려운 상황 속에서도 뜻깊은 자리를 마련해 주신 버나디아 탄드라데의 UCLG 아스팍 사무총장님께 감사드립니다. 코로나19 팬데믹은 세계 지방정부 간 실효적 협력의 중요성을 각인시키고 있습니다. 지금이야말로 세계적으로 사고하고 지역적으로 행동할 때입니다. 바이러스로부터 인류의 안전을 지키기 위한 전 세계적 연대의 힘은 코로나19 백신과 같은 소중한 역할을 해내고 있습니다. 문화정책집에는 코로나19 위기 상황에서 문화예술 생태계의 자생력과 경쟁력을 높이기 위한 세계 지방정부들의 땀과 열정이 담겨 있습니다. 그동안 제주도는 다양한 코로나19 대응 정책을 발굴하고 실행하며 새로운 전략과 비전을 제시해 왔습니다. 특히 코로나19의 장기화에 따른 사회 전반의 회복 탄력성을 위해서는 문화예술의 사회적 역할이 더욱 중요해지고 있습니다. 제주도는 국경 수준의 방역과 함께 사회적 유대와 트라우마 치유에 큰 힘을 발휘하는 문화예술 생태계 회복에 온 힘을 다하고 있습니다. 코로나19 위기 극복과 문화예술 생태계 복원을 위한 제주도의 경험과 성과는 지방정부의 지속 가능한 미래를 일구는 귀한 밑거름이 될 것입니다. 인류가 마주하고 있는 위기를 넘어 모두가 더 행복한 미래를 여는 쇼가 계속되려면 지방정부 간 상호 협력과 공동 번영을 위한 협의체인 UCLG 아스팍의 역할이 매우 중요합니다. 문화의 다양성을 보호하고 문화예술로 연대하며 더 풍요로운 지구촌을 만드는 일에 구심점이 되어주시기를 기대합니다. 제주도는 인류의 더 나은 미래를 위해 UCLG 아스팍과 지속적으로 협력하겠습니다. 지방정부의 협력과 연대로 머지않은 미래에 얼굴을 맞대고 서로의 안부를 물을 수 있는 평범한 일상이 돌아올 것으로 믿습니다. 다시 만나는 그날까지 모두 건강하시고 행복하십시오. 감사합니다. 여러분,
Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much, Governor Wong, for inspirational message. Indeed, through the solidarity among local governments, we are able to support each other as we face the challenges of the pandemics, and we are all now working for recovery in our cities and municipalities. And indeed, culture has a critical role to play in this resilience of our society. And we hope that this we can highlight more in the publications that we will launch today. And I think before we proceed, maybe we should have a photo session, because then we can see who are here. So I like to ask my colleague to proceed with the photo session and have all the videos on. Thank you. Please, colleague Sandra, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So we have the photo sessions. Can you please open the video camera? Okay, I will counting up to 3. Okay, stand by.
Smile.
1, 2, 3. Okay, hold. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to see smiling faces, because we know that smiles can boost our immune system. So it's very important that we always need to smile. Thank you very much, Chandra. So let's just resume our discussions by having an interactive poll. So I like to ask everyone, we will have a Mentimeter. This is something always apply in UCLG World as well, and also in UCLG ASPAC. So can we go to Mentimeter, because there will be several questions that we would like you to select or choose. Yeah, can we show the Mentimeters as well as the code number? So please go to www.menti.com and enter the code 15725256. All, are we ready on this? So, oh wow, you're fast. So the question is, did local governments undertake projects, programs, activities on culture during this COVID-19 pandemic? We are still waiting some more answer. So we got several people answer yes, and some and one not sure. Yeah, maybe I can wait for 1 more minute. All of you have put your answer. So if you have not done, go to www.menti.com and use the code 15725256. So here it's very clear that most of you have undertaken activities on culture during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is great, and few answer no, and then some answer not sure. So can we go now to second question probably? So this is also a question that we would like you to answer. What initiatives should be prioritized by local governments to facilitate COVID-19 recovery for the cultural sector? Can we get some of the answers? Perhaps some of you, this is great. You have a culture right, inclusivity. I think this is a very important words since we need to have a lot of cooperation and partnerships among different stakeholders. So also empowerment of industry, and then culture right for all. And someone mentioned about the culture in public spaces. I think we have seen a lot of initiatives, also actions on culture in public spaces. Also, some of you mentioned, I cannot read Korean, maybe somebody can help, hire creatives or hire employment for artists, minorities for employments, yeah, minorities empowerment. But the highest, I mean, the biggest word here show the most that you answered. So inclusivity is mentioned several times here, as well as working with artists, employment of artists, and hire creatives, and as well as hire creators probably, and then culture rights for all. So I don't, yeah, there are some more here. Like development and promotions and partnerships and subsidy. I think this is quite interesting also to show that some of you have taken initiatives by providing subsidy, probably given to some artists or some activities that related to culture. So thank you very much for participating in this Menti.com. And we go back, one more question here. Is culture part of your local government development plan? I think most of you answer yes. So thank you. Thank you very much. This is quite interesting also to see that most of you have already conducted activities related to culture. As we know, tourism industry, part of the culture has been affected quite heavily by the pandemic. So, so let me also explain a little bit why we do this webinar. We would like to launch this publication called Culture, Policies and Actions of Local Governments in Response to COVID-19, an Asia-Pacific perspective. This was a collective effort by UCLG ASPAC Culture Committee and supported by our members. We have included here several initiatives. In total, there are 6 cities in the region. We have Andong, we have Jeju, we have Baguio, we have Vigan, we have Xi'an, as well as Seoul. So we have 6 cities in the region that's shown how the cities responded to COVID-19 using culture as an entry point. So how has the pandemic affected the culture sector, and how did local governments address this? I think you will hear later from mayors as well as deputy mayors and officials from the local governments how local governments address these issues. So let me also, of course, first I need to thank all those 6 cities that contributing to this publication, and of course my colleague Liz and others who help us in developing the publication. So let us move to the discussions and also presentations. Let me invite our first speaker. He's Mayor Juan Carlo Medina of Vigan City. He's currently on his second term as a mayor and has been very actively improving the city governance, health, and education systems. And Vigan is actually a very beautiful city, but I have not visited Vigan, maybe in the future. Vigan is a UNESCO Heritage City and one of the founding members of UCH ASPAC Culture Committee. The city's initiative included in the publication is on the World Heritage City Solidarity and Culture Festival. So Mayor Medina, the floor is yours. Good to see you again, Mayor. We have a Mayor Medina.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi. We couldn't see you.
Hello,
I
ma'am.
think your video is not on yet.
Yeah.
Now, yes.
Sorry. It's nice to see everybody again for this activity. Allow me to share my screen. It's
Yes,
okay.
please, Mayor. Yes, please, Mayor.
Thank you. Can everybody see my presentation?
Yes, we can see that.
Thank you. Aesthetically, it is the series of ancestral houses that entices tourists in Vigan. However, what keeps them coming back, I believe, is our culture. The ambience of the place, the food, and the friendly and accommodating locals have sustained tourist arrivals in the city ever since we have made our culture a priority. You can sit with an Ilocano in our Cali Crisologo, converse with them about Vigan, and they will surely share with you a thing or two about its history and culture. Despite the difficulty in transport and the scarcity of raw products, the demand for our unique delicacies still remains. Culture in itself persists despite the pandemic. While there is tourism's proven resilience in response to other crises, the depth and breadth of the current pandemic will likely have a longer lasting effect compared to other industries. The uncertainty and decline in travel also led to people staying off work, losing income, and causing a fall in demand. Although still a relatively high number of new cases emerge every day, the commendable work of the public sector against COVID, the health situation in Vigan and in the whole province is effectively managed. However, there are considerable challenges ahead, starting with the unknown duration of the pandemic and on travel restrictions. Since heritage has always been the initiating factor that started progress in Vigan, it will continue to be an important factor in rebuilding our city as we move forward to recovery. As before, we have always inculcated to the citizenry that our heritage is the key in advancing the city. Heritage preservation became a constant consideration in all of the government's effort. Because of this, the city was able to thrive on its heritage, particularly in progressing our tourism industry. This shall still be our guide in moving forward after the pandemic. We will still ensure that the citizenry, despite the challenges we are facing, understand the importance of our heritage, which will still be the binding factor in ensuring that the city gets back on its feet. As proof, the city government continued to promote cultural activities despite difficulties in health protocols. First, infrastructure projects such as the laying of cobblestone in our heritage district and the beautification of our Plaza Bulcus, including our local food stalls, did not cease. The restoration of a 4-story building, which will serve as a barangay product display center, and a satellite fire station at Cali Crisologo is now nearing completion. The city also installed lights to boost the uniqueness of the ancestral houses at Cali Crisologo, and the construction of a park at our conservation complex will soon be started. As we battle the challenges of the pandemic, technology has become a key factor in advancing development. We use technology in making sure that our constituents are well informed on what is happening in the city, and we use technology in the promotion of our culture. Last year, when quarantine protocols were on its strictest, the city were able to virtually conduct its Binatbatan Festival in May, Solidarity Festival in September, Ranyag Festival in October, and the Artist Iti Pascua in December. Similarly, the city has also conducted and participated in webinars that help us in address the effects of the pandemic. We co-facilitated the Tatak Pinoy webinar with the Office of Senator Sani Angara and the Sinergia Foundation to upgrade the production of our cottage industry, thus creating more jobs for our people. We have also partnered with UNESCO for the Japan Fit project that intends to provide opportunities for vegan to develop, sustain, and promote its traditional industries and safeguard its cultural heritage. The possibilities from our local industries such as Abel, Longanisa, Bagnet, Burnay, and Damili are endless. Thus, we have ensured that they continue with their production despite the pandemic. As we ease quarantine protocols in the city, we have partnered with the Nueva Segovia Consortium Cooperative for the establishment of a loan assistance program to facilitate the recovery of businesses in the city. As of April 2021, the Vegan City Economic Recovery Program for MSMEs has granted loan assistance to 58 business owners, totaling to 3.4 billion pesos, of which 14% of the total loans were used to augment the businesses of our traditional industry players. Similarly, the City Council also enacted an ordinance granting discount on the payment of business taxes due for the year 2021. The city also conducted seminars to educate business owners on the minimum health standards to ensure the safety of employees and clients. For employment, the city partnered with contractors to hire workers from our tourism industry on city-funded infrastructure projects. Lastly, the city is slowly migrating its services to adopt digital solutions. Seminars and training shall be done through webinars, contactless consultations through telemedicine, and online submission of requirements and payments is now being processed. There are a lot of innovations to explore, a lot of new opportunities. LGUs not only have to be resourceful to unlock these possibilities, and should consider shifting its priorities to include the progress of the local industry to compensate for the loss that the pandemic had caused. 2020 diverted our existing programs to combating the pandemic, but the City of Vigan still perseveres in upholding its heritage. As we continue the next normal and still recovering the city, we make sure that we continue to initiate progress by inculcating culture in our efforts to build back a more resilient Vigan. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor, for a very good presentation and also beautiful photos. I think many of us would like to visit Vigan. Maybe after this COVID gone, perhaps we should have an event in Vigan and enjoy the beauty of your city. Thank you very much. Also, you mentioned you grab the opportunities by also using this technology and also giving subsidy as well as improving this small medium enterprises related to tourism industry. Congratulations, Mayor, for a very good initiative. Let me now move from Philippines. We move to South Korea. I'd like to welcome the second speaker, who is Deputy Mayor of Andong City, Deputy Mayor Sung Soo Park. He has been the director of several city and provincial governments for over 20 years before assuming his current position as Deputy Mayor of Andong City in January 2020. The city government of Andong has recently also conducted the called Amado Artist Project and also organized this Andong E-Gamyeon Festival. So I'd like to welcome Deputy Mayor Andong. The floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Sung Soo Park, the Deputy Mayor of Andong City. I am very honored to be able to have this opportunity to introduce Andong's cultural program in 2020 since the COVID-19 outbreak. Next. My presentation will start with the introduction of our city, cultural policy, and the two cultural projects. Next. Andong is the capital city of North Gyeongsang Province. The area is 2.5 times larger than Seoul and has a budget of $112 million. A world-class bioscience vaccine is located in Andong, where produce 500 million doses of vaccine per year. Next. The history of humankind has been overcoming crisis. In Middle Ages, humanity blossomed during the Renaissance and the Industrial Revolution. Now, the entire world is struggling due to the pandemic. I strongly believe we can make a new change to face the challenge in post-COVID-19 era. Last year, most cultural artistic events were canceled because of COVID-19. Andong City, however, has done its best to maintain the cultural life and to support the livelihood of local artists and strengthen the cultural network. It also aims to restore the regions, respond to change, and move toward becoming a more resilient city to increase the value of the local brand. Next. Let me begin the cultural programs we have done in 2020. It started on June 2nd to June 14th, 2020. This event is co-hosted by Andong City and Andong Festival and the Tourism Foundation. The budget was spent about even $900. They explained their work in a talk program, understood the artist art museum with the audience, and conducted art talk to appreciate the work. This was done when COVID-19 has made it very rare to have a personal face-to-face conversation. The exhibition program was held at 8 cafes in region for 2 weeks. Next. As you see the slide, Amado Artist Project consists of 3 programs. The exhibition program and the art talk and art performance during different time and venue, respectively. Next. These are the artworks displayed in the cafes. Next. These are examples of the art displayed in the cafes also. Next. And the photo of the art talk, the artist and the performance. These are the photos during the art and talk show and the art and performance. As you see slide, we conducted these programs under the complying with the strict quarantine guidance for public safety. Next. I will tell you about event. 안동에 가면 is an event to demonstrate the mask dance and performance, which is a shortened version of the Andong International Mask Dance Festival held every year. The event was held from October 26th to November 11th, 2020 in Andong's UNESCO World Heritage Site, tourist destination, mask dance performance location, and public places. Andong City hosted together with the Andong Festival Tourism Foundation. We spent a budget of about $219,000. Next. Busking performance outreach was performed in the Andong Mask Dance Park, UNESCO World Heritage Site, sightseeing place, and public civil place. The various cultural events were performed and the local YouTubers introduced the programs, broadcast and live streamed to their YouTube channels. 100 performers participated and the event was streamed live on YouTube's channels. Next. In compliance with the social distance rules, once it was placed per 4 meters with a bench and the Indian tents set up, so performances were done with enough distance from the audience. Next. To comply with the public health and the code of conduct for reducing the spread of COVID-19. Next. These are the photos of music and cultural performance. Next. The event was promoted by posting on social media such as Makada Andong on local YouTube personal channel, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. Next. While holding this event, we try to spotlight on local art and artists in Andong, and for zero confirmed cases, we successfully completed two events without any new infections. In addition, cultural activities in various fields such as art, performance, and music networking with each other and through collaboration together has built a new cultural platform. Next. Thank you so much.
Kamsahamnida, Deputy Mayor, for a very good presentation. It's really also congratulations that you managed to organize festival without any cases, COVID cases. I think this is quite interesting to hear that, because some cities still struggle to have off-site festivals during this pandemic, but you managed to do that. Congratulations. And also your initiative helps support the artists as well as these creators, and of course this improve the livelihood of the artists and provided the community access to cultural life. I think this is a very, very good and interesting initiative. Thank you very much once again, Deputy Mayor. Our third speaker is Mr. Thai Gun Kang. He's a chief of the Culture Policy Department at Jeju Special Self-Governing Province. The Jeju Forum for Peace, I think you all very familiar. Jeju organized this Jeju Forum for Peace and Prosperity for 2020. This was a dedicated session on culture. So Mr. Kang, could you tell us more about this Jeju Forum for Peace and how Jeju also...
네, 안녕하십니까.
Please.
안녕하십니까. 특별자치도 문화정책과장 강태군입니다. 이렇게 만나 뵙게 되어 정말 반갑습니다. 오늘은 지난 한 해 코로나19 확산으로 침체된 지역문화예술 생태계를 보완하고 위기의 시대 공동체 회복을 위한 문화예술의 역할에 대해 함께 논의하기 위해 지난해 제주에서 진행되었던 제주 포럼 문화 세션에 대해 말씀을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 작년부터 전 세계적으로 확산된 코로나19 바이러스로 우리 모두는 힘겨운 싸움을 이어가고 있습니다. 시민들의 평범한 일상은 무너졌고 사회 전 분야에 큰 타격이 이어졌습니다. 이 중 가장 심각한 타격을 입은 분야는 문화예술계입니다. 공연장과 전시장이 폐쇄되고 예술인들이 활동은 전면 중단되어 생계 유지가 어려워졌습니다. 제주도도 이러한 상황에서 예외는 아니었습니다. 넥스트. 우리도는 이러한 상황에서 문화예술의 역할에 대해 논의하는 담론의장이 필요함을 인식하였고 이를 위해 작년 11월에 개최된 평화와 번영을 위한 제주 포럼에서 문화 세션을 운영하였습니다. 지난해 제주 포럼 또한 행사가 열리지 못할 뻔하였으나 온-오프 라인을 병행한 하이브리드 방식을 통해 무사히 치러진 바 있습니다. 넥스트. 제주 포럼 문화 세션에서는 문학, 미술, 음악, 영화 등 문화예술 각 분야 전문가들이 한자리에 모여 팬데믹 코로나19 속 문화예술 역할을 주제로 함께 대화하며 서로의 지혜를 공유하는 자리가 마련되었습니다. 넥스트. 중국 현대 미술 화가인 송정지에는 예술가들이 인류가 맞닥뜨린 거대한 재난을 외면할 것이 아니라 이로 인해 상처 입은 대중들을 보듬고 코로나 사태를 야기한 인간의 이기심에 대해 성찰할 계기를 제공하며 앞으로 인류가 나갈 방향을 제시할 수 있는 작품들을 창작해야 한다고 말했습니다. 넥스트. 일본의 소설가 오시오 사다토시는 문학이 팬데믹으로 야기된 인종차별, 혐오, 그리고 집단 우울감 등의 사회 문제를 해결할 수 있다며 문학이 갖는 보편적 힘을 역설했습니다. 문학은 시공간은 물론 인종과 연령, 남녀의 성별을 뛰어넘어 연대와 공감, 우정과 신뢰를 형성할 수 있다는 힘을 길러주는 역할을 한다고 설명하였습니다. 넥스트. 한국의 영화감독 민병훈은 코로나의 위기가 오히려 새로운 시대를 여는 촉매제가 되었다며 지금의 상황을 긍정적으로 평가했습니다. 코로나19 확산에 따라 극장 방문 수요가 줄어든 대신 넷플릭스 등 다양한 OTT 플랫폼이 이용 수요가 폭증하였고, 이는 영화 제작비 절감, 영화인들의 수익액 증가 및 수익원이 다양화로 이어졌기 때문입니다. 넥스트. 제주 출신 성악가 소프라노 오능희는 폐쇄된 공연장이 아닌 오픈된 제주의 자연을 공연장으로 활용한 콘텐츠가 감염병 확산 우려에 대응한 새로운 방안이 될 수 있다는 아이디어를 제시했습니다. 야외 공연장은 방역에 유리할 뿐 아니라 아름다운 자연과 감동적인 공연이 결합은 제주를 대표하는 문화 관광 콘텐츠가 되어 연관 산업의 동반 상승률과 및 일자리 창출이 파급 효과까지 유도할 수 있을 것이라는 청사진을 그렸습니다. 넥스트. 마지막으로 UCLG 문화특별자문관 캐서린 컬리는 코로나19 이후 공동체 보고를 위한 문화의 중요성에 대해 언급했습니다. 위기 때마다 발휘되는 예술이 사회 통합의 힘과 지속 가능한 개발을 담보할 네 번째 요소로서의 문화의 중요성에 대해 주장하였습니다. 넥스트. 제주 포럼 문화 세션을 통해 우리는 5명의 전문 문화예술인들로부터 위와 같은 소중한 의견을 들을 수 있었고, 위기와 절망에 빠지기보다는 이 상황을 헤쳐나갈 용기와 희망을 얻게 되었습니다. 이러한 지혜를 UCLG 에스펙에서 발간한 정책 지배에 실어 회원 도시들과 함께 공유할 수 있어 무척 기쁩니다. 넥스트. 2020년 우리 도는 문화 세션을 운영한 것 외에도 예술인들에게 긴급 재난지원금을 지급했고, 공연장과 전시장의 방역 물품을 무료로 지원했으며, 온라인 문화예술 콘텐츠 제작 지원 사업을 통해 예술인이 최소한의 활동을 할 수 있도록 노력을 기울였습니다. 올해에는 공연장과 전시장을 전면 폐쇄하기보다는 감염병 위기 단계에 따른 관객 간 거리두기 등 방역 수칙을 제시하여 시민들의 예술 작품들을 직접 감상할 수 있도록 해 문화예술인들이 지속적인 활동을 이어나가도록 하고 있습니다. 이와 더불어 영상으로 제작되고 있는 문화예술 콘텐츠의 질을 높이기 위한 방안들에 대해서도 예술인들과 소통하며 함께 고민하고 있습니다. 코로나19 이후 더 나은 미래를 함께 구상하고 앞으로 나가기 위해서는 그 어느 때보다도 지방정부 간 상호 협력이 중요해졌습니다. 앞으로도 이러한 자리를 통해 UCLG 에스펙과 지속적으로 연대하며 팬데믹으로 무너진 지역사회의 회복 방안을 함께 고민해 나가도록 하겠습니다. 넥스트. 오늘 정책 자료집을 발간하고 이러한 자리를 마련해 주신 UCLG 에스펙 버나디아 탄드라 대위 사무총장님께 감사드립니다. 오늘 발표를 들어주신 여러분 모두 감사합니다.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much, Mr. Kang, for a great presentation. And congratulations once again for the successful conduct of this Jeju Forum for Peace and Prosperity 2020. Actually, it was also quite interesting to hear how your city or your provincial government took several initiatives by supporting those artists. And what you mentioned, it was also quite interesting how, you know, in this situation, there are huge opportunities that we can grab, and that's include diversification of resources, even though the movie goers may be less, but I think there are also another digital platform like Netflix. Actually, I also watch Netflix sometime on the weekend. But thank you once again, Mr. Kang, and of course, thank you to Jeju for being so active in the cultural committee of UCLG ASPAC, being the leading city or leading local governments for this culture committee. Thank you once again. Before we move to next speakers, actually, I would like to open the floor for questions to our speakers from Vigan, Andong, and Jeju. Is there any questions? Can we have question and answer part 1? So, any questions to 3 speakers from Vigan, Mayor Vigan, and then Deputy Mayor Andong, and also Mr. Kang from Jeju. Perhaps I could ask a question, but welcome. Who would like to answer is fine. Whoever would like to answer, this is okay with us. So you see a lot of opportunities and challenges you encounter when you implemented the initiatives that you presented. Can you share some of those opportunities as well as the challenges when you took up these initiatives? Can we have some of you answer? Welcome. Maybe Mayor Giancarlo, you would like to answer that questions?
Regarding challenges and opportunities, ma'am.
저희들은
Yes. Sorry. One by one. I will go to. Sorry. In Korean we call it. I'm sorry. It's not mianeo. I forgot that. Anyway, please apologize. I will give a floor to Mayor Giancarlo and then Mr. Kang.
The challenges, ma'am, during this pandemic are actually the intake of technology from our citizens. It's very easy to provide online transactions or online festivals to our citizenry, but the problem with our city, as most cities also here in the Philippines, is the lack of a proper backbone for our interconnection, which is our internet service. So technology is still a hindrance for most of us, and I think it's also is an opportunity for us to improve these services so that we can proceed with the new normal, provide them with additional services that would not entail face-to-face, not just from now but also in the future, so that to better cope with pandemics like this one. So I think it is a good opportunity for all of us to grow.
Thank you, Mayor. So technology and of course this internet connection that also, and also some senior citizens may not be comfortable using this technology. I think this is also we see a lot in other part of the region, including Indonesia. Thank you, Mayor. Can we go to Mr. Kang? Mr. Kang, you would like to answer that question as well?
저희 제주 특별자치도에서는 2020년도 그 뜻하지 않는 코로나19로 인해서 많은 어려움을 겪었습니다. 진짜 그 문화예술인들이 이제 예술 활동을 못함으로써 경제적으로나 활동을 못하다 보니까 그런 우울증이나 이런 부분에 대해서 많이 어려움을 겪었는데요. 그래도 이제 어느 정도 이제 하반기 때는 이제 적용이 되면서 온라인으로 인한 그 예술 활동 이런 부분에서 디지털을 활용한 이런 부분들의 활용함을 함으로써 예술 활동을 할 수 있었고 이런 거에 대한 지원을 적극적으로 하였습니다. 그러다 보니까 이제는 이제 원래 이제 2021년도 이런 것을 맞으면서 이제는 크게 어려움이 없이 온라인이나 오프라인을 활용한 병행을 하면서 활용하는 문화예술 활동을 하면서 상당한 부분이 적응되고 있습니다. 이러한 부분들을 통해서 우리가 이제 지속 가능한 문화예술 활동이 이루어질 수 있는 그런 환경이 아닌가 이렇게 되었습니다. 어쨌든 코로나19가 여러 가지 어려움은 주었지만 실제로 또 색다른 또 이제 발전적인 그런 방향으로 발전돼 가지 않나 하는 그런 생각을 해봅니다. 저희들도 이에 대한 적극적인 지원을 위해서 앞으로 각 지방 정부와 열심히 협력 체계를 구축해 나가도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. Yes, Deputy Mayor, would you also like to answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for your question. Most important thing is how to help the artist or the due to the corona pandemic situations. We and how to provide some kind of the good opportunity to for artists to perform the so we think about the most important thing is to cooperate together with between civic part and the public part. First, we will provide some kind of the budget to perform the some artist. At that time, civic part has some initiative to how to play those kind of the artist skill and performance. So to cooperation between two sectors is the most important thing, and it is the most difficult things, especially in Korea. Many cultural plan was initiated by the public sector, but this time we changed those kind of the trends. So this time we have some very big problem, but we have a good transformation from the public part led artistic policy to the citizen lead public artistic policy. So that's the good lesson for us. We will continuously make an effort to continue those kind of policy and cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor, for a very good answer. Indeed, we can grab this opportunity, and the support to artists is really important, and working in good cooperation with civil society definitely is a key. So thank you very much for your answer. I don't know if there is any any more question before we go to next speakers. Probably, if I can ask one more questions, because during this COVID-19, we found that several budgets gone down. The revenue has gone down because of this economic difficulty. How could you also prioritize this culture despite this, budget limitation? Maybe, I don't know if you would like to answer. Anybody would like to answer that questions?
예, 제주특별자치도에서 말씀드리겠습니다. 작년 같은, 그러니까 2020년 코로나가 바로 발생돼서 작년 7월 추경 중심으로 해서 저희들이 문화예술 행사 부분에 관련된 예산은 거의 삭감됐습니다. 그러면서 이제 바로 대안으로 이제 만들어진 게 직접적인 재원 지원을 위해서 재난 지원 형태로 해서 편성을 해서 직접적으로 이제 활동할 수 있도록 이제 대관료나 아니면 기타 이제 다른 방법으로 해서 이제 여러 부분을 지원을 했고요. 그런 시행착오를 거쳐서 2021년도에는 삭감나는 예산이 없이 온라인이나 오프라인으로 할 수 있도록 병행할 수 있도록 예산을 편성해서 지금은 그런 큰 문제 없이 코로나와 이제 영향은 일부 있지만 그래도 영향 없이 예술인들이 활동할 수 있고 그렇습니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 지금 실내 공연이나 이런 부분들이 상당 부분이 제약을 받고 있어서 이런 부분에 대해서도 안타까움을 갖고 있습니다. 그래도 이제 예술인들이 공연을 할 수 있다는 그 자체가 예술인들한테는 더없이 이제 행복을 줄 수 있는 아니면은 위안을 줄 수 있는 이런 부분이 되기 때문에 그리고 또한 도민들도 디지털을 통해서 공원 모습을 볼 수 있어서 이런 예술 활동이 도민들한테도 좋은 보약이 되지 않나 이런 역할을 하고 있다고 생각이 듭니다. 예, 감사합니다.
Thank you, 감사합니다. Thank you very much. Shall we move to next session? We will still have open discussions later on, Deputy Mayor and also Mayor, as well as Mr. Kang. So I hope you will stay with us until end of this program. So let me now invite our fourth speaker. Is a lady, Miss Yung Mi Lee. She is a Senior Manager of the Cultural Policy Division of Seoul Metropolitan Government. She will be sharing with us how the Sejong Center Cheer Up concerts supported artists and art groups and how they're also working on the city's ongoing initiative like a shooting with the culture project. So Miss Lee, please take the floor.
UCLG ASPEC 회원도시 여러분 만나 뵙게 되어서 대단히 반갑습니다. 서울시 문화정책과 문화정책팀장 이영리입니다. 지속가능한 발전을 위한 지방정부 차원에서의 여러 긍정적인 문화정책을 논의하는 자리에 참석하게 되어 기쁘게 생각합니다. 넥스트. 기쁘게 생각합니다. 네. 네. Next. 네, 작년부터 지속된 팬데믹 상황으로 각국 지방정부는 공공만이 할 수 있는 역할에 대한 여러 가지 고민이 있었고 서울시 또한 마찬가지였습니다. 작년 1월 24일 서울시에서 첫 확진자가 발생하였고 그 이후 서울시는 사회적 거리두기 캠페인을 실시하였습니다. 이로 인해서 서울시에서 운영하는 58개의 문화시설들이 문을 닫게 되었습니다. 넥스트. 특히 대면 접촉을 전제로 이루어지는 문화예술 공연들이 잇따라 취소되면서 문화예술계가 크게 위축되었습니다. Next. 공연장의 문이 닫힌 상황에서 사회적 거리두기 캠페인에 호응하면서도 공연 예술계를 지원할 수 있는 대책을 고민하였습니다. 발간된 자료집에서도 소개되었듯이 서울시는 힘내라 콘서트 프로젝트를 기획 광역 지방정부 중 가장 빠르게 비대면 공연을 진행하였습니다. 작년 3월과 4월 개최된 힘내라 콘서트는 공연 취소로 타격을 입은 예술가들에게 무관중 온라인 공연 기회를 제공하는 프로젝트로 추진되었습니다. 넥스트. 세종문화회관에서의 대관 공연을 취소된 작품과 예술경영지원센터를 통해 피해를 접수받은 작품 중에서 공모를 통해서 12개를 선정하였고 내부 공연 4개와 함께 총 16편의 무관중 공연을 진행하였습니다. 현실적으로 도움이 될 수 있도록 해당 단체에게 최대 3천만 원의 제작비와 공연장 대관, 홍보 및 중개 비용 일체를 지원하였습니다. 이들 공연은 민간과 협업하여 네이버 TV 등과 유튜브 등을 통해서 생중계되었습니다. 또한 공개된 영상은 제한된 기간 동안 다시 보기로도 제공되었습니다. Next. 전통예술, 오페라, 무용 등 다양한 장르의 공연이 진행되었고 힘내라 콘서트는 생중계 신청 인원이 28만 명에 이르는 등 다수보기 시청자도 12만 명을 넘어서는 등 총 40만 명이 시청을 하는 등 많은 사랑을 받았습니다. 힘내라 콘서트는 새롭게 대두된 비대면 공연, 문화예술 공연을 안정적으로 지원해야 할 지방정부의 역할과 가능성을 확인해 준 사례가 되었습니다. 넥스트. 팬데믹이 장기화 국면에 들어서면서 코로나19로 우울감과 무기력증을 겪는 시민들이 증가하였고 서울시는 이제 시민들이 안전하게 문화예술을 향유할 수 있는 대책을 세웠습니다. 그렇게 하여 지난해 8월 5일 시민들을 예술과 문화로서 위로하는 시민응원 프로젝트인 문화로 토닥토닥을 발표하였습니다. Next. 첫째로 최일선에서 고생하는 병원, 소방서 등을 찾아가 음악과 활력을 선물하는 공연 차량인 마음 방역차를 실시하였습니다. 또한 서울 시내 다양한 야외 공간에서 소규모 버스킹 공연 형태로 진행되는 소규모 공연으로 365일 거리 공연을 시민들이 일상 속에서 예술을 즐길 수 있도록 기획하였습니다. Next. 올해는 국내 최고 수준의 오케스트라인 서울시립교향악단이 서울 곳곳의 아파트를 찾아가 공연을 진행하는 우리 동네 음악회까지 진행되어서 굉장히 시민들로부터 사랑을 받고 있습니다. Next. 둘째, 힘든 시기를 겪고 있는 취업 준비생, 육아에 지친 부부 등 시민들의 감동적인 사연을 접수하여 맞춤형으로 진행되는 시민 초청 공연인 찾아가는 공연은 오프라인뿐만 아니라 온라인에서도 생중계되고 있기도 합니다. 줌을 통해 관객들이 실시간으로 참여하는 소통 방식도 도입하기도 하였습니다. Next. 마지막으로 온라인 공연만을 위해 제작된 실감형 컨텐츠인 서울음악여행은 180도 VR 영상과 초고화질 촬영을 통해 현장감을 그대로 생생하게 전달하기도 하였습니다. 이는 작년 한 해 총 400만이 넘는 조회수를 기록하였고 올해도 서울의 다양한 문화시설과 다양한 장르의 공연을 결합한 장르 융합 영상을 문화로 토닥토닥 유튜브와 네이버 TV를 통해 지속적으로 공개할 예정입니다. Next. 이 밖에도 서울시에서는 서울 드럼 페스티벌, 국악축제 365 패션쇼처럼 서울의 대표적인 행사와 축제 모두를 문화로 토닥토닥 유튜브 채널 안에서 다양하게 온오프라인으로 제공하고자 합니다. Next. 끝으로 뉴노멀 시대 지방정부의 역할에 대해서 말씀드리고자 합니다. 다른 모든 회원 도시에서도 그렇듯이 서울시에서도 앞으로의 문화예술 정책의 방향에 대해서 많은 고민을 하고 있습니다. 올해 5월 개최한 서울의 대표적인 음악축제인 드럼 페스티벌에서는 축제 현장을 가상체험 공간으로 구성하는 메타버스를 도입하였습니다. 문화예술 경험을 가상 공간까지 확장하는 실험적인 시도였으며 이처럼 뉴노멀 시대에는 대면과 비대면 방식의 공연 예술이 공존할 것으로 전망이 됩니다. Next. 서울시에서는 실감형 영상 제작 스튜디오를 조성하여 문화예술가들이 수요를 충족시키고자 노력하고 있습니다. 지방정부는 현재의 트렌드에 맞는 문화예술 정책을 적극적으로 도입하여 실험을 계속할 수 있는 주체가 되어야 할 것입니다. 이를 위해 서울시는 앞으로도 여러분들의 경험을 공유하는 기회가 더 많아지기를 기대합니다. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kamsahamnida, Director Lee, for a very impressive presentation and how Seoul is uplifting the spirits of the people and supporting the culture sector. I'm very sure the citizens in Seoul appreciate very much the effort made in giving a good spirits despite this situation, the pandemic COVID-19. Thank you once again. I would like now to invite our fifth speaker is Ms. Sang Rui. She's a member of International Cooperation and Exchange Office, Xi'an Municipal Administration of Culture and Tourism. She is responsible for culture and tourism projects in Xi'an. Ms. Rui, we are also aware that the cultural tourism industry in Xi'an has fully recovered from this pandemic. So could you share with us what measures that Xi'an has taken to start this cultural tourism industry? Please, Ms. Rui, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Zhang Rui from Xi'an Culture and Tourism Bureau. It's a great honor for me to attend the webinar to exchange ideas and share practices with experts and professionals all over the world. Xi'an, called Chang'an in the ancient times, is a world-famous historical city with glorious culture. As one of the cradles of Chinese and Eastern civilizations, it was the starting point of the Asian Silk Road. With more than 3,100 years city history and over 1,100 years capital history. Xi'an has been the capital city for 13 dynasties, boasting profound history and abundant cultural relics. Xi'an has prestigious reputation for a natural historical museum. In 2020, confronted with a major impact on cultural tourism by the COVID-19, Xi'an took targeted and effective measures to tackle the pandemic. Cultural tourism has experienced the process from overall shutdown, orderly restart, and then to full recovery. First, shutting down cultural tourism enterprises to prevent the spread of COVID-19. At the beginning of the year 2020, all cultural tourism enterprises in Xi'an was ordered to shut down, making great contributions to the disease prevention and control. However, like many other industries, they were also heavily affected, suffering great losses due to the epidemic. After 1 month shutting down, we adopted risk and field-specific restoration measures to resume work and production from 25%, 15% to 75% orderly. By 2021, China has received 4.33 million visits by the end of the long weekends of the Tomb Sweeping Festival, with a total of 2 billion Chinese yuan tourism revenue, 6.9% up over 2019. During the May Day Festival in 2021, Xi'an has received 16.9 million visits, surpassing the same period in 2019 by 3.8%. The total tourism revenues reached 1.06 million Chinese yuan, 28.1% up over 2019. So far, the cultural and travel businesses in Xi'an has basically achieved normal operation, and we still don't slacken the efforts on the disease prevention and control at the same time. Second, introducing supportive policies to assist cultural tourism industry. In March, we introduced 21 measures to control the pandemic and stabilize the economy, and launched 23 tasks to promote the resumption of cultural tourism industry. A total of 200 million Chinese yuan has been invested into varied cultural and tourist programs to speed up the industry's recovery. As a result, the resumption rate of cultural tourism industry is as high as 95%, bringing about benign environment for the rapid development and cultural tourism industry. Besides that, we also adopted supportive policies for tourist performing sector, including reducing and exempting venue rents for some enterprises suffering from financial problems. The multiple measures work well in resuming cultural tourism industry in an orderly manner. Third, launching online and offline cultural activities to look at each other and surmount different difficulties together. Cultural capitals of East Asia sing the same song together among cities. In 2020, singers from China, Japan, and South Korea jointly performed a song, Sing a Song and Building a Dream. After release, the music video gained wide popularity at home and abroad. Xi'an has attracted close attention for its profound history culture across the world. Citizens of the three cities have been encouraged as well. Online treasure concert. Combining Chinese cultural essence and Western class music, the Xi'an Symphony Orchestra performed nearly 20 online concerts in tourist spots, including Terracotta Warrior Museum, City Wall, Shanxi History Museum, and Xi'an Museum. The beauty of blending the cultural relics and the music is presented consecutively through appearance of different parts to form a dialogue between the music and national treasures. The online concerts boasting over 200 million view accounts, receiving wide attention and acclaim from the media all over the world. Cloud Drummer. In the cooperation with National Chinese Cultural Centers of Denmark, Pakistan, and Belarus, we combined traditional culture with modern life in the efforts to demonstrate Shanxi opera, China's intangible cultural heritage, to the world. The all-around and multi-angle approach of online release and offline demonstration is adopted to facilitate the events. 2021 Cultural Capitals of Eastern China New Year concert conducted in hybrid approaches. The Cultural Capitals of East Asian New Year concert sent New Year greetings to the people around the world by performing classic music of China, Japan, and South Korea. Fourth, cultural lives and cultural exchanges playing a vital role in combating COVID-19 and post-pandemic recovery. When public cultural spaces were shut down due to the pandemic, people could still have access to abundant spiritual life through a series of online cultural activities, which helped increase people's mental peace. The encouraging shows sponsored by the government have not only enriched people's lives, but also strengthened people's confidence and courage in combating the COVID-19. The cultural activities have enhanced the friendship among peoples around the world. People are encouraged to unite and look out for each other and work together to combat the disease. Dear friends, the virus cannot defeat humanity, will eventually prevail. A bright future is ahead of us. I'm looking forward to meeting you face to face when the pandemic ends. Xi'an extends a warm welcome to you to experience the splendid cultures and the local cuisines. Welcome to Xi'an, the ancient capital of China. Thank you all.
Thank you, Xie, Ms. Rui, for sharing with us your initiatives, and congratulations, Xi'an managed to recover from this COVID-19, and also quite impressive to see how your revenue has increased. Revenue from the tourism industry has increased. Thank you very much. I'm sure many participants would like to ask questions to you later. But anyway, thank you. Let's move now to next speaker. Going back to the Philippines, and I'd like to welcome our last speaker for this city's presentation, Mr. Aloysius Mapalo. He's supervising tourism operations officer of Baguio City. Baguio is designated as a city of crafts and folk art by UNESCO Creative Cities Network, and is also a very active member of UCLG Aspa Culture Committee. So he will tell us more about Baguio Creative City Festival. So Mr. Mapalo, the floor is yours.
Hi. Good afternoon and good day to everyone who is participating in this webinar forum. And we are glad to be invited and share our own experience here in Baguio City in the Philippines. So if I may be allowed to share my screen.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So there you go. I hope that is you can see that, but starting with the last slide. So I'll just fix it. Meantime, sorry.
You're also given 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. Okay, so I hope this is being seen now. And I'll start with my first slide here. I think we have a webinar with a very fitting title, The Show Must Go On, especially that here in Baguio City, knowing that we are a UNESCO Creative City of Folk Arts and Crafts. And we would like to focus on this creative festival that we conducted just last year in 2020. It is our effort to start helping our craftsmen and artisans here in Baguio City to at least start all over again after the slump in their economy and livelihood since the beginning of the year. We started reopening our tourism here, which is a 4 billion peso industry in the city, or roughly $82 million every year of gross receipts for our tourism-related establishments. Around 5% of that are our creatives or our artists and craftsmen. So it is very important for us to, again, start inviting tourists, but this time in a safe manner, and definitely having to observe the minimum standards for health protocols. So we are aiming, when we conducted this in November, to have a increase in positive reputation of Baguio City as an inspiring creative city, and of course highlighting safety and convenience for our visitors. Raise the awareness and interest and purchase for Baguio creative products, as these are the source of livelihood of many of our residents and particularly artists here in the city. Provide opportunities for Baguio's artists and artisans and cultural workers to showcase and uplift their craftsmanship. So it's also partly a product development for our artists and craftsmen. We opened the event in November 6 at the Baguio Convention Center. We had a lot of artists who attended. Two of the national artists who are resident of Baguio City also graced the occasion, and no less than our mayor as well attended the opening ceremonies. One highlight of the month-long event is to provide what we call creative tourism for our tourists to experience the different creative centers and different creative hubs and even gardens, as we would like to start promoting open park attractions for our tourists, being one of those that can really be safe for our visitors and tourists. And during this circuit, we were able to have 14 spaces to participate in the circuit or in the tour, and 130 approximately attended this creative crawl for our visitors. And these are some photos of the different gardens and different attractions, the museums, the cultural villages that also were seen by our tourists. We also had a Art at Sunshine Park, a interactive activity for our tourists and visitors, where our visitors can see actual demonstration of artworks being done right at the middle of the city in Sunshine Park. And our theme there is still life exhibit. So this is just emphasizing that amidst the difficulties, we can still have culture and arts as our foundation for having essence in our lives. And as you can see, we at least generated around 44,800 as gross sales for our artists in this particular event only. So that's roughly like $900 for the 32 artists who participated. Aside from that, aside from the artworks, we have also music for our performing arts, and on-the-spot painting even for visitors and others who would like to join those resident artists. And 60 more artists participated for on-the-spot painting. There are also plants for gardeners that can be availed of in the same activity, Art in the Sunshine Park. There were crafts demonstration, as we would like this also to be immersion of our culture here in Baguio City for our tourists, particularly for the following crafts: backstrap, weaving, art making, basketry, and wood sculpture. And speaking of wood sculpture, we had a wood carving competition done at the Bencab Museum with 18 entries. And these are the different types of wood carving products as entries of the competition. And we were able to collect, because after the competition, we sold as auction or as trade for our visitors the products of this competition, and we were able to gather 250,000 or around $5,000 for the wood carvers. We also had a garden competition as part of the creativity aspect. We would like to see how nature and arts can be combined with 31 competitors. These are samples of the entries. that we've seen during the competition proper. And aside from the Guardian competition, the crafts competition as well in different categories. In textile, we had 4, basket 9, and in metal craft, we had 8, all 21 entries all in all. And this is one way of helping our artisans and craftsmen to improve their craft and develop further new designs for their craft. So these are the winners for textile weaving. For basketry, these are the winners, and accessories. And for metal craft, these are what we have produced for our produced by our competitors. And then what's nice also is that we gave a market area for our artists and craftsmen to showcase their products. And this is something that our visitors and tourists alike wanted really to have, bring home with them after visiting our city. There are 36 artisans and craftsmen who showcase their products. And we, even if it was only for a 5-day event, we extended it up to 12 days to maximize the opportunity. And with that, we were able to have 1.7 million of gross sales in pesos. And that's roughly around $36,000 in dollars for only 12-day event for those participants. This is
Sorry, could you kindly conclude the presentation? I understand you have some more slides here.
Thank you. This is my last slide.
It's nice pictures anyway, but we would like you to conclude. Thank you.
Noted. Thank you very much. So all in all, we have 886 in gross sales. This is help for our tourists, so visitors of our arts. And we also have workshops for them. And we closed it last November 13, 2020. And that because of that, we were able to achieve our outcomes to help and improve the situation of our craftsmen and artists here in Baguio City. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and my apology because of the time constraints. Thank you, but it was very impressive presentation, and you also managed to connect culture, environment, and I know because of the COVID also people are interested more in farming and gardening. I think it's good that you captured that. Yeah, it's nice to see some of the works that you have done. Thank you so much. Next, I was thinking to have next speakers before we all go for the open forum for discussions. Let's now move to the global. And then once again, I would like to thanks all speakers, Sol, Sian, Baekhyun, as well as the previous speakers. So let's now move to global and to discuss the global campaigns on culture as the 4th pillar of sustainable development. We are joined here by coordinator of UCLG Committee on Culture, Jody Pascual. So Jody, the time is yours. You are given 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bernadia. It is a huge pleasure to be with you in your afternoon, our morning, and I'm delighted to listen to the speakers from ASPAC, to learn from your experiences, and to notice how close we are, how the feelings and the reactions, the policies, the dreams for the future, the plans are so similar all across the world. And it is the fact that for the first time, we all, the humanity we have lived this very difficult experience, and we are overcoming this pandemic together, and with culture as one of the main components in the crisis and in the recovery. I will try to be very brief. I have many slides. We can go to the first slide to explain, next one, how we in UCLG historically have conceived the role of culture in sustainable development. Not this one, the previous one. You can see a triangle, which is the triangle of sustainable development. At least since 20, can we go move back to the, yes, this one. Thank you very much. Not this one, the one with the, this one. Yes, perfect. The triangle of sustainable development, at least since 2010, we understand it does not explain reality. It does not explain how our societies function. We believe that the proposal of culture as the fourth pillar or first pillar, no hierarchy, but at least the same importance as the other three, the economy, the social inclusion, and the environment. This image explains better who we are as human beings, how our cities are, and how humanity is today. Unless we bring at the center of the debate issues like heritage, memories, history, creativity, diversity, knowledge, beauty, rituality, the cultural components of development, unless we bring this explicitly as components of sustainable development, we will not be able to be a really transformative society, a society that provides the knowledge, the capacities, the freedoms to the people to have their own lives, to be happy, to have welfare. How do we do it? Next slide, please. We wrote a toolkit in 2015, Culture 21 Actions, this one with 9 commitments and 100 actions. We can go to the next slide and you will see some of the examples of what we do. We, with this toolkit, we call an international award. We also organize a summit. You can see that the summit will be very soon in September, 9-11 September in Izmir. We have a program of good practices. We do interesting advocacy globally, and we also do some capacity building and learning with cities all around the world. We can go to the next slide, and perhaps to the next one. I will explain this at a later stage. Yes, if we can go to the next slide. Yes, the SDGs. If we can go a bit backwards, please, to the image of the, yes, back. In the last years, we have done a huge effort. Yes, this one, and then you can go to the next slides as I talk. In the last years, we have done a huge effort to relate our narrative, culture to be at the center of sustainable development with the SDGs. It is not an easy exercise because, as you can see, there is not a culture goal. There is not an 18 goal on culture. We wrote this guide, a guide which is available in many languages and which goes goal per goal, explaining what is the relation between the sustainable development goals and culture. You can move and you will see the images of this guide. Can we? Yes, go ahead, go ahead. Please go ahead. All right, you can move, and you will see another example of our work that relates culture to the sustainable development goals. Yes, go ahead, please. This one, our Observatory of Good Practices. You know that we have an award with Mexico City. You know that the jury identifies many good practices. What we have done is now more than 230 good practices we have in our website. We have all of them indexed according to the 17 SDGs. So if you are looking for a project on SDG 13, climate change, or SDG 4, education, or SDG 1, end poverty, you will find many excellent good practices, some of them coming from Asia Pacific. We can go to the next slide. We can go forward because we have, yes, go ahead. These are examples. Go ahead, please. Next slide. Yes, a bit back. I think that we are suffering from the delay. I'm sorry for that. A bit backwards, please. Yes, back. Again, back. Yes. Can we go to the previous slide? Here. No, I know that the Zoom and the PDFs and the PowerPoint sometimes have this delay. Don't worry, it is quite normal. Let me focus in the slide I wanted you to have a look. You will be able to have a look if you download the presentation. We have classified the SDGs according to 3 criteria, where culture is more the context, culture is more the enabler, and culture is more a driver. You can have a look to this slide because it can give you some interesting information if you wish to locally relate culture to the 17 SDGs. You will also have a look to the slides in which we describe, we communicate, and we promote the work of a campaign of global cultural networks, the International Federation of Libraries, the International Council of Music, the International Council of Monuments and Sites, ICOMOS, and many other. Together with us, UCLG, we promoted a culture goal. We then promoted several initiatives to make sure that there were several targets in the goals, several cultural targets in the goals. And this campaign, the Culture 2030 Goal campaign, is still very alive. We wrote a report on how the voluntary national reviews were including cultural components in the period 2016-2019. And this year we're writing a report on how the voluntary local reviews are including culture. We are committed with this campaign so that as soon as possible, there is a more explicit understanding of culture in the high-level political forum, and especially in the next period of sustainable development goals from 2030 onwards. If we can go ahead with the slides, you will see also examples of 3 projects, and I will devote just 1 minute more to finish the presentation. You can press the slides as you wish. One of the projects I would like to introduce is already being implemented by Xi'an, the 7 keys. We created a workshop that explicitly asks participants to relate, to work, to identify 7 keys, 7 local keys with which the city can further localize with a cultural perspective the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Yes, you can go ahead. The second idea is the Culture 21 Lab. I must say that this is also a workshop. We can stop here, and I want to congratulate and to celebrate Makati and Greater Dandenong, 2 cities in UCLG ASPAC, with great work done by their cultural actors in this Culture 21 Lab. You can ask for more details to our team, to the team of Bernadia as well. And last but not least, during the pandemic in 2020, we wrote together the Rome Charter. The Rome Charter that invites all cities around the world to consider the right to participate in cultural life as the center of the recovery. Very important that artists, cultural organizations, cultural foundations, the creative economy are supported. They need this support. They were severely hit by the crisis, but we cannot forget that culture is a right, that we cannot leave no one behind, that we have vulnerable populations in all our cities, and that we need to identify obstacles to guarantee that everybody is invited to participate in cultural life. And this is something that national governments have some difficulties because they are far. We local governments, we have it quite easy. The pandemic has shown this strong relation, Bernadia was highlighting this, the strong relation between culture and public spaces, education, social inclusion. So we still need strong cultural policies, solid cultural policies written in very close cooperation with civil society and aiming at benefiting all people living in the place. That's all. Thank you very much, Bernadia.
Yeah.
And congratulations to all the speakers. I have learned a lot. Thank you, Jeju, Vigan, Andong, Sul, Xian, and Baguio. Congratulations for your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordi, for enlightening us on the efforts that made by UCLG Committee on Culture. Indeed, there is a strong relation how culture relates very much on sustainable developments. Culture is about people. So, and SDG's slogan is "No one left behind." So, I think this is important that we will have to continue our good works in advocating the importance of culture as a fourth pillar of sustainable development, so that no one left behind, and then every human being has the right to enjoy or to explore the culture activities. So thank you once again, Jordi. I'm sure we have a lot of things to do together in the future, in the near future, and bringing this culture actions into reality at the local level. Thank you once again. As I would like to invite the next speaker, Building Back Better with the Culture. I like to invite Ms. Tuong Bin Han. She is the program specialist and chief UNESCO Bangkok office. She's an anthropologist with extensive knowledge and experience in Southeast Asia and international development. And she joined Bangkok office in 2016 to lead the cultural unit there. So, Ms. Han, sorry, please take the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Melania. It's good to see you again. We met in Korea a few years back, I think 3 years ago, when we still can travel freely. And good afternoon to all the speakers and representatives of cities. It is great to hear all the stories that you have shared. Many of you coming from UNESCO families as well. We have Creative City, we have World Heritage Cities, and it is really great to hear how culture has not been forgotten during COVID pandemic. And more importantly, how culture has become even more important than in normal time, to really use the force of culture to address many other issues like environment or health or economies, and like all the speakers have been very rightly pointed out, and that also linked to Jordi's presentation earlier on how culture should really play a very central role for the cities and for the countries to achieve sustainable development. And thank you very much to UCNG ASPAC to invite us to do the presentation today. In my presentation today, I mainly would like to maybe go through some of the tools, some of the publications, some of the work that we are doing that could be of use to the cities in furthering their culture work, in the culture field. Some of them would be directly response to COVID situation. Some of them would be having a broader sustainable development framework. And as you see that many of the issues that now emerging more visibly under COVID actually are not new. They have been already seen before, and then the COVID situation has just somehow exaggerates that and make us see them a little more clearly. Not yet, yeah. So I will just go through some of the tools, some of the publication that we have, and I will also provide link and QR code on the slides in case you want to have more access to these materials. So the first thing is, as part of our global response to the pandemic, in March 2020, UNESCO launched a call to the members of the Creative City Network to share good practices on how they have leveraged their cultural and creative access and potential to alleviate the various impacts of the crisis. So through this call, we collected and disseminated initiative of 19 creative cities in 44 countries, based on which we published a dedicated publication entitled UNESCO Creative Cities Response to COVID-19. The publication is available in English, French, Spanish, and Chinese, and it could be used as a source for inspiration for cities. I think it's also very similar, maybe in a way a bit similar to what UCNG will be launching shortly, to inspire cities and other stakeholders on how they can support the cities in achieving resilience responses to the pandemic and to continue reinforcing sustainable urban development through culture and creativity. And based on the success of the first call, UNESCO launched the second call in March 2021 to continue its efforts. And with this time, special focus is made on supporting cities' recovery from the pandemic. So to date, we have received 65 cities sharing responses in the collection of 130 Culture and Creativity Center urban responses to and recovery from the pandemic. Next slide, please. If you're one of the historic city like Vigan, for example, but I think this one also apply to other cities where you want to see heritage as one strong angle of your city. We invite you to explore the Canopy, which is a new platform of innovative practices and strategies that further heritage protection for sustainable development. Next, please. And another initiative, Urban Notebooks, has been also developed as a monthly newsletter for site managers and city managers that includes some examples of the innovative practices. So if you sign up through the listserv, you could receive this in your mailbox on a monthly basis. Next, please. We also invite you to have a look at the publication, Cities, Culture, Creativity, Leveraging Culture and Creativity for Sustainable Urban Development and Inclusive Growth, published as a partnership between UNESCO and the World Bank. The publication provides guiding principles and a framework to support cities in
Hello, I think we lost you. Hello. Hello, I think we lost her. Can everyone hear her? Hello, I think we lost her, unfortunately. We will let her come back after her connection is better. So thank you very much. Sorry, Ms. Bin, it seems that your connection is interrupted.
Sorry, I got kicked out.
Yeah, because somehow I think the internet in your place may be a bit weak.
But it's now is okay again?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Maybe can you speed it up? Can you speed it up, please?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the publication, yes, you could see the link there. The next one, the next two slides that I have, maybe you could have the next slide, please, is really to explore the linkage between creativity, cities, and technologies. Can I have the next slide, please? Where we organized the third UNESCO Creative City Beijing Summit with Beijing, which is one of the creative city of design, and in September 2020, bringing in 40 speakers and 110 countries in 10 cities, exploring different areas around the technology, which I've seen as very relevant to many cities, as you have brought up in your previous presentation. Next one, please. So in relation to this, we also launched the TechCar initiative, Technology for Culture, to bring together and cultural leaders with startup entrepreneurs to develop innovative digital solutions and win-win business models to address challenges faced by culture and creative sector within COVID. So we have a bunch of initiatives submitted by different stakeholders around Asia Pacific. Please go and have a look and see perhaps some of the winning projects would be applicable to your city. Next one, please. The next one is we invite you to also to explore the UNESCO Culture 2030 indicators, which provide a useful framework to bridge local and national efforts to highlight the cross-cutting contribution of culture to sustainable development and build stronger policy recommendations in 4 key thematic dimensions: environment and resilience, prosperity and livelihood, knowledge and skills, and inclusion and participation. Again, you could have access to the indicators on our website. Next one, please. Another work that we invite you to have a look at is the competence framework for cultural heritage management that identifies areas of competence for various practitioners in both institutional and individual contexts involving in managing cultural heritage. And as heritage is an important part for many cities members of the UCNG, this one could provide some useful guide for your future work in relation to elevating the role of heritage in sustainable development. Next one, please. For this one, we would like to invite you to also look at the Asia Pacific Awards for Cultural Heritage Conservation, which is the awards that we open every year. Many projects in many cities have received awards through the past 20 years. And in the from last year, we include the new category called Special Recognition for Sustainable Development, in recognition of the important role that cultural heritage can play in achieving sustainability. So with this, we highlight the importance of private and property owners in preserving heritage. So if there are some of the projects like this, please submit it. Next one, please. We also have done a lot of activities to promote dialogues and networking opportunities. And so we would like to just highlight some of the work that perhaps you could look at. The One Heritage City Dialogues, which is something coming regularly together with the One Heritage City Lab. And at the moment, actually, we are having the celebration of the 10th anniversary to launch a campaign for the implementation of the historic urban landscape recommendation by all historic cities. So the activities are going on, the celebration are going on with many events from now until the 24th of June. So we invite you to join that. And next one, please. And the last one is that we would like to highlight and invite you to consider joining is the online meeting of the UNESCO Creative City Network, which will take place on the 6th and the 7th of July 2021 for its member cities. But of course, if you're, I hope that you will be considering to join the network in the near future. So that is just some of the tools that we would like to share with you. I leave my contact at the end of this slide. And if anyone would be wanting to learn any more about any of these tools, any of the publications that I have shared, please get back to me and we could have the conversation. Thank you very much. And apologies for the technology hiccup.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much for sharing UNESCO initiatives. And also you said that there is a UNESCO ASPAC Award, Asia Pacific Award. The deadline is 31st of July. Maybe some of our members would like to submit the application. Thank you once again. Dear participants, we have heard all speakers and who already delivered the presentations, very nice presentations that we have listened just a few minutes ago. So I like now to open the floor for questions or clarifications that you might have. So in case you want to speak and ask questions, please click the raise hand button at the bottom of your screens. But you can also submit your questions through the chat box. I have seen here Dr. Anthony from Padang City Government, Indonesia. So yeah, you have questions. So please, Dr. Anthony.
Thanks very much, Ms. Bernadia. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anthony from Padang City Government, Indonesia, particularly Board of City Development Planning. Very interesting and enlightening presentations indeed that showcase the important role of culture as a fourth pillar of sustainable development in the pandemic recovery efforts. I think my question goes to either speaker from Andong, Xi'an, or Baguio, the Philippines, any of you. Could you kindly share a bit, how have you strengthened or empowered the participation of people from disadvantaged groups, such as people with disabilities, in your city cultural programs and policies during the pandemic? I think that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I'd like to collect one more question before I'll ask the speakers to answer. Any more hand raised here? I couldn't see any more hand raised, but anyway, maybe some of you could answer that question. In order to have more time for questions and answer, maybe you can answer your the question shortly. Yeah? Who will start, Baguio or anybody? Anybody would like to answer that questions? Yes.
Yeah, I can offer an answer for that. Yeah, from our experience here in Baguio City. Well, all of our activities I have shown earlier in my presentation are actually very inclusive. So that means we are welcoming all participants, even those. As a matter of fact, we are prioritizing those who are smaller businesses or MSMEs, smaller enterprises than the bigger ones. And we have one particular project in our Burnham Park, which is an open park. We have just rehabilitated a rose garden, and we are offering concessions. But one criteria particularly is to have the marginalized PWDs as the entrepreneurs or even the employees of small entrepreneurs in that particular park. So that's one way of helping out and reaching out to this sector of our community.
Thank you very much. Any other speaker would like to answer that question? No? Okay. Maybe I'll ask questions to everyone here if this could be answered shortly. So we know that local governments need support in order to integrate culture in local development plans. How you see this, what could be enabling environment needed to support local governments in integrating this culture in their local development plans? Any views on that? Of course, it might be funding, it might be regulation, but could you anyone answer on these questions? Enabling environment? What do you think could be support needed for local governments? Maybe Han, you want to answer that questions? Or Jordi?
Well, I mean, I can try. I think that probably will be best to hear from the cities. Actually, that's a great question that you raised. I was expecting to see, really wanted to hear from the cities. But I think from our point of view, I mean, my personal, I mean, these kinds of exchanges, I think is very useful. So big congratulations to UCNG as that. I think that these regular exchanges are very important because cities can learn from one another. And can sometimes like just your example could be something very useful. So that's definitely and then documentation, like the publication that you are going to launch. I think that is certainly would be very, very important, and that's certainly along the line of what UNESCO is trying to do as well, because like you see, I mean, funding, we are not the funding agency, so we never can help the cities with that kind of support. But I think the exchanges and collection of good practices and networking certainly, I think, something that we can bring to the table, and hopefully it's useful for the cities in some way.
Thank you. Any answer from cities representatives here? Perhaps I could have one more question before we give a floor to Mayor Vigan to close this webinar. We have UCLG ASPAC Culture Committee. And I think many of you have been very active in this culture committee. What actions would you recommend to UCLG ASPAC Culture Committee to further promote this role of culture and sustainable development? Anybody would like to answer that questions? I think this important of sharing, important of exchange. This is definitely needed. And then, of course, we also need to see some of actual works and show good examples that maybe local governments have. So anyone would like to answer that questions?
Yeah, if I may, but well,
Yes.
perhaps it was answered by Ms. Han already about networking and exposure. Since we have still travel restrictions, the best exposure really is when we are able to benchmark on site with other countries and with other cities as well, and exposing the market, also expanding the market of our cultural products, particularly in our case, the crafts and arts that our artists and artisans are producing. Perhaps an online platform that will also feature particular cultural products in terms of arts and crafts, which is, I think, can be a UNESCO Creative Cities Network program. Yeah. While we are not yet able to really travel a lot, that kind of exposure will help our artists and craftsmen.
Thank you. I think that's a good point. Networking definitely is needed. And we are so fortunate that we have this technology. We can do all these exchanges, networkings without having face-to-face meetings. And also important of having perhaps e-learning. I don't know whether this is something that local governments want, because we are also developing the e-learning. This is something that maybe we can do together with UNESCO or with UCLG World, of having e-learning on how the culture is integrated in the local actions and local plans. Yeah. Jody, you want to answer? You want to also have intervention?
I just wanted to agree on what you say. In fact, we are preparing, as you have seen, our acquis, our heritage in the area of culture and sustainable development is enormous. We have been working since 2004, and we have now a good experience, very useful documents, strong narrative. And what we, in a few weeks ago, we thought we need to do an e-learning course with all these contents.
Yeah.
Because there are questions, there are answers, there are outstanding examples, and here I must insist that you have excellent example among the best around the world. So we want to do this exercise with you, to create this learning course that everybody can participate for free, and to offer to our communities our acquis, our experience. So this is something that we are already, it is already in our work program, and we'll be delighted to make a specific course with you, Bernadia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And definitely we will join you in Izmir for the UCLG Culture Summit later this October, right? October? Yeah. Thank you.
September.
Oh, September, sorry, yeah. We also organize UCLG ASPAC Congress hosted by Cheng Cho, and we plan to have exhibition on the products that the cities or local governments have. So we welcome you all to this Congress of UCLG ASPAC later in September, and join us also for this exhibition, art exhibition, local products exhibition, as well as the photo contest and photo competitions. This is something that we will launch very soon, the photo contest and photo competition. So please, hopefully you can help us also spread out this message to your network. So, and I really I would like to thank everyone for joining us and sharing a very good initiatives that you all have at this webinar. I think we know that in these situations, we see a lot of depressions. Every day we get the sad news about the people we lost because of the pandemic. But with this culture, I think we see big hopes, and also, it managed to uplifting the spirits of the people. I think through culture, it can also heal whatever feeling we have because of the pandemic. I think this has been very good sessions. I really like to thanks all the speakers for very good and excellent presentation and sharing. I think we need to give a big applause to Mayor of Vigan and Deputy Mayor of Andong, and Mr. Kang from Jeju, and from Seoul, from Xi'an, from Baguio, and from UNESCO, and of course from UCLG World, Jordi Pascual. So we cannot hear all the big applause, but I'm very sure everybody is giving a big applause to all of you for excellent presentations. And I also would like to thank all those 6 cities, 6 local governments who joined us for the publication. So this is now to officially announce the release of UCLG ASPAC publications on this culture. Can we show? Yes, culture policies and actions of local governments in response to COVID-19 in Asia Pacific perspective. The link will be given to you, and this cover all initiatives that have been presented today. And of course, we will come more and more initiatives that cities have. But most important is if you find this publication, if you read this publication, it's really give us a big hopes that despite the pandemic, despite the situation, we have things to cheer up. And I think this is a good message, and local governments have been making a great effort. Cities and local governments have been taking a lot of initiatives how this culture still have to be embraced in this situation by giving a subsidy, by giving also support for small, medium price enterprises, and also capturing the beauty of the technology, and of course having creativities, because in these limited situations, I think we all are challenged to be creative and using whatever resources we have for our people. So once again, thank you very much, and wish you enjoy our publications that now link is available in this chat. Before we conclude this webinar, I would like to once again invite Mayor Medina to deliver the closing remarks. Mayor Medina, the floor is yours. Thank you for being so patient.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am Bernadia. Integrating culture post-pandemic may not be the priority of most cities. More likely than not, attention is geared towards economic recovery. But as it was shown and discussed today, culture should be assimilated with recovery. As it is with the 6 cities who presented, culture had always been the driving force that initiated economic activity. It has immensely provided employment for numerous people and contributed greatly to productivity. I thank the UCLG ASPAC, particularly its Culture Committee, for initiating the promotion of cultural activities in various cities and for creating an avenue where everyone can benefit from the practices of other countries. We may not directly see the benefits of strengthening the traditional industries during the pandemic or conducting traditional festivals online, but I am confident that once travel restrictions are lifted and people can assuredly travel without fear, we shall slowly gain the benefit of our actions. UCLG have always worked to ensure sustainable development, and it has always been a window for collaboration between its member cities. I hope that everyone here recognizes the efforts of the organization and take advantage of the resources and initiatives that it offers. I congratulate each and everyone who are here for taking the first steps toward recovery. May we all bounce back with renewed dynamism in revitalizing economic activity with culture at the center of our efforts. Once again, thank you, and I hope immunization efforts for COVID-19 in your locality are doing well. Diyos unay tiagina, agyaman na kada kayo amin ako. Thank you very much.
Salamat, Mayor. Thank you very much for inspiring message. Indeed, we also need to thank you for big support to Culture Committee of UCLG ASPAC together with Jeju. So once again, thank you very much, Mayor, for your time. So with that, our webinar has ended, and I really like to thank all participants, speakers, who attended this meeting, webinar, and made a great contributions for the success of the webinar. Of course, I cannot forget without acknowledging the support of GAOT, the Governors Association of Korea. Is a very active member of UCLG ASPAC for providing the Korean interpretation for this webinar. And then the publication, once again, would not have been possible without all those cities' contributions. Seoul, Xi'an, Jeju, Andong, and as well as Vigan, and I think this is great. We have 6 cities, and of course, thanks to my team, Liz, for organizing and making good coordination on this, including the publication, and all my team members at this UCLG ASPAC Secretariat. Once again, stay safe, everyone. But I have a request here from our office that we would like you to answer a short evaluation of this webinar. And actually, there is no prize to answer this, but it would be nice if you could join us for the very short evaluation so that we can improve ourselves. The way we conduct this webinar in the future. So please go back again to Mentimeter and enter the code 87219234 or scan the QR code. And we wait for your answer on this for us to improve our webinar in the near future. So thank you very much once again, everyone, and stay safe. And we hope to see you again in the next event. And don't forget always to smile, because this also boosts our immune system. So thank you once again. Salamat, kamsahamnida, sisye, and thank you, terima kasih. Bye-bye. Thank you.